Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Connersville Board of Aviation Commissioner meeting for February to order. Roll call, please.
Pete Bell.
Yep.
Tim Patterson. Ed Harrell.
Here.
Andy Urian.
Here.
Kevin Urian.
First order of business is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Did I give that back to you?
Yes.
Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's so moved. We're still processing the claims, so if you'll give us a minute.
You want to go ahead and go to the engineering report?
Yeah, if we can. Okay.
Sure. So on engineering, we have, since we reached substantial completion, Katie's went ahead and done a draw on all these grants that we've got open. It's an accounting days for you there, Rosemary. But, so we've got AIP 32, 33, 34, and 35 draws on those. And that'll essentially take us down to what we can get until the 2026 grants are issued,
Were some of those combined?
as in,
The amount, I signed one this morning for 142,000.
yeah. So I believe that's the grant application for this next year.
Okay. So
So
I signed one last week for, do you remember the amount?
I have a lot of numbers in there.
I think it was 1,400.
okay. Yeah, so that's probably the 141,000 is for your IJA fiscal year 26 grant. It's gonna be issued. And the 1,400, I'm guessing, is the matching share. It's one of the state matching shares on one of the other grants.
Because the matching share was what we owned?
No, I think it was the mentioned share index.
Yes,
Okay.
for one of them, which I'm not sure which one it was. It's probably 35 because they were really far behind on their purchase orders because of the new software called Black Cat. So the Black Cat's program is what you're getting all this stuff in
The
now.
first one of those I received,
Uh-huh.
I deleted it. I thought it was spam.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing on there that said what, or no warning that it was coming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they've got some online training and so forth if anybody's interested. Otherwise, Katie will walk you through as things come in. She's monitoring it. She's got to log in from our side too.
We need to make sure that you're not receiving them, right?
I haven't received them. It showed that I was on that email, but
Okay.
I didn't get them. And then I also was wondering if shouldn't we have approval, the board approval before she starts submitting those?
Well, those were all previous. So everything that she's put in there, the board has approved.
Okay,
So I think the matching was for the AIP 35 pay request 1. This is pay request 2.
okay,
Pay request 1 went in, but there wasn't a state purchase order yet.
okay,
So once the grant was signed by the state, the purchase order was loaded. She went ahead and processed it because you already approved payment 1
okay.
back when it first came out. So,
It might help us a little bit if she'd like send us a note, hey, I'm submitting these. You might see this.
right. Yeah. We can do that. I mean, normally, now that the system's up and running, it's gonna follow when we approve all these today. You'll see all this stuff go in here over the next week.
Okay,
Yeah. Getting spooled up initially is kind of confusing because, the system, they're basically processing things from 6 months ago, right?
no,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a struggle.
Yeah. So, okay, so, let's run through these. All of these basically are going towards the hangar project. It's various stages of the grant that gets us up to the, basically the 90% mark on all these grants. And, so the first one's the AIP 32, and it's a total amount of $9,054. You can see the marks there. And I don't know, do you want me to go ahead and just lump these all into one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So AIP 33 is a pay request two. It's a total of 21,166.67 with the FA and the local shares there. And then AIP 34 is a total of $8,526.31 with the appropriate shares listed there. And AIP 35, partial pay request number two for $11,842.10 with the appropriate shares. We'll do the progress estimate as a separate.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
And a motion to approve AIP 32 through
55.
35.
Mm-hmm.
Need a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And someone,
The last item is progress estimate number 6. So this is payment to the contractor in the amount of $259,516.19 on the hangar project. This would be the final less retainage. So there's retainage of $67,040.26 that will be outstanding. Second to the last page. So that's basically where we'll be at here. And then, it's my understanding that they got the solar all repaired and that's up and running now. And, I didn't hear back on whether they got your propane bill paid.
They did not.
I
And
would say I got some questions on that.
there's quite a few of them. We need to know if they're going to pay for all of them, because I think we had the bills started coming in, January, or was there some in February?
Some in December.
So,
So we got 2 tanks. I mean, for the terminal and the big hangar.
but, so I guess I need to know which tanks.
Yeah.
So,
So the December 2nd is when they called the hangar substantially complete. So anything definitely prior, any bill you received in December that would be November time for sure, they should pay for. After December 2nd, it's probably on you, unless I would say this. If they left the heat up and they didn't give you an opportunity to turn it down, then I think we'll try to get it out of them too, because my understanding is they had the heat jacked up to help cure the
Mhm.
floor, right?
Yeah.
And then they didn't tell you to turn it back down. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, yeah, I mean, because looking at these pay requests that we have, I know in December we had, looks like, I don't know what the dates are exact, but I would assume that's the setup date when they brought the tank in. Maybe for the hangar on December 10th is when they built it for 1574. Of course, we understand that, we'll certainly pay for a full tank of propane, but going on, if you look February and January, there's some expenses there for propane. And then even in February, there's quite a bit of expenses here. That, yeah, if they didn't notify us, I don't know if we can work out a deal. Hey, they should take care of that.
Well, February, they should, we talked about last board meeting. I think it was turned down for February, right? But January,
Okay.
whatever time in December, I know we talked about it in the January meeting. I don't know when exactly it got turned down. I don't know if you remember.
well, I don't think that, Jeff or, Nathan was at the January meeting.
Now you guys are pushing snow.
Yeah. Is that the Zoom one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we need to split that? Well, obviously, we need to split.
On the 20, yeah.
Yeah. So can you look at that?
Yeah.
There's really no reason to have any more, correct?
Probably
No, there's water in there.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah,
wanna see it?
But yeah, turn it all the way down.
yeah,
So once it's above freezing, I'm
Yeah.
assuming try to keep that thing as cheap as we can.
yeah.
Well, and you could probably turn the water off at the outside
outside,
if you wanted to. Yeah.
Or wrap it and plug it in.
Yeah,
I've got a steel building, it's just insulated, and we don't,
yeah,
it's never frozen. I mean, we put our equipment in there with the freeze. Keep as cold as it gets, and it's insulated well, which that building is not deep.
yeah.
It's got enough heat from the floor
Yeah.
that it's stays above freezing, so we could probably turn it on, especially when we got above average temperatures coming. Maybe this is the next cold spell. Just kidding.
Guarantee that.
No, definitely.
So, back to so I guess we're holding 67,000 while we get this resolved. We just need to know what the right number is. In fairness to the contractor, they probably don't need to pay to heat the building all winter, but up until, when you took it over and whenever, we got the heat turned down to a reasonable level. So if you guys could come up with a right number on that, we'll circle back with them. We got to 67,000. So at the end of the day, if they don't agree to it, we just subtract it out of the retainage and send it back to them. So, but I think they'll probably work it out. We'll agree to it. So everybody okay with paying the contractor $259,516.19?
Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, the last page in your packet is the substantial completion date, and I don't have an action item typed on my agenda for it, but I think we should, because this is when it starts the 1-year warranty. So it's basically the board is agreeing that December 2nd is the substantial completion date. The substantial completion date's on the front. The date we're signing, it's today. No, it's not. It's February 16th. No, that's when the engineering is. Yeah, so you would sign it today, but so the 1-year warranty would run from December 2nd of 25 to December 2nd of 26. And 1 month prior to the 1-year warranty, we do a 1-year warranty inspection where we walk the building and make sure any warranty items that need to be noted, we get them notified in there. As long as they're notified within the period, even if they're not corrected within the 1 year, they're notified and they'll have to correct those.
There was, at the last board meeting, the Zoom meeting, we brought the attention to one gentleman that sat in your place. I can't remember his name.
John Claire.
Okay, yeah, Donnie. That there were potentially some small leaks on the floor, on the roof. Did we
Okay.
address those?
I don't know.
I think so. When I was up talking to him.
Okay.
Okay.
We can double check, but I think
Was-
it's been, was,
It wasn't condensation, but it was an actual leak. Okay.
okay. Do we need a motion to sign this?
I would like that, so it's in the minutes, that we are accepting substantial completion as December 2nd.
Motion? Motion. We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
And that's really it. It's gonna be quite some time before we do our next project. I would like to encourage, the state announced pavement repair grants up to $100,000. Those are 50/50 grants. So whatever you might spend on pavement repairs could be matched 50 cents on the dollar if you're accepted for that grant. I realize that there's, budget considerations for next year that need to be taken into account, but if you were to budget for pavement repairs next year, I think we should apply for a state grant that would essentially double whatever your spend would be on the pavement repair. So certainly don't need to talk about that right now, but you can,
You sign it.
Yeah.
you can kind of see here out through,
You want him to sign this copy, or do you have an original for him to sign?
I don't have the original. Yeah, you can sign it. It's fine, I'll scan it. We will not be taking another grant basically until 2029 after the last IJA grant for anything other than the hangar. So there'll be NP in 26, 27, 28. In 29, you'll see that there'll be a partial. It'll be 37,000 will be the balance of to pay off the hangar at that time. 33,720 will be the federal share. So then the balance of those of your entitlement funds of the 166, so there'd be like 130,000 that you would be entitled to in 29. And then after that, we'll get back onto your regularly scheduled grant programs.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, something I'd like to ask you to do.
Mhm.
Can you, just in general terms, give us an idea of model? So when they're asking for twin engine, it's have a 350, or, I mean, can you give me a plane type?
I don't know. I mean, I would think a twin would be what, anywhere from like a Ford, I mean, maybe like a 310 up to a King Air, I would think.
Well, I mean, and I guess that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering, what the max would be.
Yeah, I would think up here probably about a King Air, and then the small jets would be what, your Citation Bravos.
Thank you.
And then what do you got?
Medium jet.
Medium jets, I would call those what, maybe Falcons or Lears, something like that. Up to maybe Falcon 50 is probably your transition into the large,
Okay.
wouldn't you say? I mean, you could probably do it by weight. You'd probably go up to like 20,000 pounds on small, and then 20 to 40 on medium, and then above 40 would be large, something like that. It's like a Falcon 50, I think, is like 45,000 pounds, something like that. So your Gulfstream can get as high as 90,000 pounds. Ish.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Old business. I'm sorry. Did we complete claims?
I need a motion.
Okay. Need a motion to pay the claims? Move. Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to old business.
Pete and I had a meeting with Jason from Shift Sector about the event coming up here in the next 2 months, 2.5 months. You know, Jason's got his I's dotted and his T's crossed. We had a meeting with the mayor, and then Chief Jones from the fire department, and then I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name, Clint, I think, from EMS.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Jason's going to follow up from Shift Sector, is going to follow up with those guys and kind of make sure that the site plan and everything that Paul's drawn up, you know, looks good, and everything looks to be going pretty good. You know, seems like the requests that Jason has are not out of what the city can support, and Jason is willing to, you know, pay for any of those services at his expense. So looks pretty positive. You know,
We having a conversation this month or next month? Or did we?
I don't know that we set an exact date. I think that they were going to talk and maybe send something else out to kind of start solidifying exactly how we're going to do parking and logistics and, you know, safety barriers, and make sure all that's taken care of. So.
Yeah, it sounds promising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excited to see it.
I know that we had a tentative meeting with Jeremy from the local regional office there, but it seemed like that was postponed or canceled.
Yeah, he had reached out asking to have a meeting because of the documents that we had submitted from, shape. what is
Ship
it?
sector.
Ship sector, didn't follow the, federal registry exactly.
Oh,
So, I said, well, if you send me the document, I can get it into the federal registry format. All the information was in there. I just needed reorganized into, so I typed it into the federal registry, order that you wanted and sent it back to him. And then he said, well, I think this is all we need for right now.
Okay.
So we didn't have to have a meeting. There is one more step, and that's the airspace step, but it says basically we need to submit that no later than 45 days in advance of the event.
okay.
But you've done everything you need to do. You notified them 120 days. You offered a meeting, they canceled it. Yeah, we're waiting to hear from them. I can bump Jeremy, with an email and see if there's anything else he needs, but
Yeah,
we'll need to submit the airspace, which will just be basically that map
okay.
with some coordinates on there showing where the edge of the pedestrians and, the event and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we should be good.
Very good.
Something we talked about was parking.
Yeah.
Whether we want to try to use the hydro space across the street.
Mhm. I don't know. I kind of left that with, Jason and, well, I mean, more maybe the mayor, and then even you've got a relationship with Hydro. So I didn't know if it's worth reaching out to him, giving him plenty of heads up that, hey, on this date and time, is it possible we could borrow your space for a couple of days? I know we did that with the food truck challenge. Did we make any amends, any modifications to their lead? They were just kind enough to, hey, you could just
Yeah.
have it. Okay. And yeah, I mean, would you want to reach out to them and just,
I can.
okay,
And I said we mainly parked in the field for the food truck challenge, where we will not be able to do that
Correct.
this year.
yeah,
What about across the road there?
That's, well, we had discussed that. But that, you're gonna have to have state police involved in.
probably, yeah.
The traffic and.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of left it up to the mayor. He had mentioned that you get state police would be in state road and, high speed area, I think as long as we've got access to parking, it'd be great if we can get the lay down yard for a couple of days. But if not, we can ask our neighbors maybe if they're cordial enough to give us some time. But I think personally, I would like to have it at the lay down yard to mitigate any risk of anybody getting in an accident.
Well, we have a portion of the lay down there we don't have to talk to.
Correct. Yeah.
Um,
But I think with the vehicles that the trailers and all the stuff,
yeah,
I don't know, there'd be some space on the apron, but not enough for, not enough that if an aircraft came in and had to, I mean, you get a small engine jet that needs to come in and park somewhere, and then you got cars and trailers and stuff lined up. It's just, that can be really not good. So
What kind of a crowd did they anticipate?
I think he said, this being the first year for the event, I want to say that I have to go back, but I mean, it might have been 50 to 60 vehicles running. And so then it's so hard to say on the crowd, but the actual participants, he's got a pretty loyal following of people that come cross country and even come to a lot of there's some people that come to every event. He's got them throughout the country, and they've just got the discretionary financial means to be able to do that. So anyway, you've got some really nice vehicles that come in that run 200 plus. And I think that maybe you mentioned there was a world record that was set at one of his events in Marion.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's a legitimate event.
That's gonna be a lot of trailers to come out to.
Yeah. And and some cars guys drive in, right? I mean, they just drive in, but then they have, trailers that come in and trailer a couple of cars and close trailers. And so, I mean, it'd be great if we can get the lay down yard. I'd hate to see those guys try to park across the street and drive those vehicles over and just, it'd be tough. And then you got people parking over there as pedestrians and spectators, you know. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, any other old business? Move on to new business.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, unfortunately for the people in Monroe County, I think it was Monroe, yeah. Yeah, Bloomington. Tornado came through and tore up a couple of their hangars.
Yeah.
So kind of in lieu or, you know, kind of segueing into talking about our hangar. We got any, I know that Pete had mentioned that, you know, there's a guy that was maybe interested temporary.
You had mentioned it to me.
Oh, Tom or Pilot, yeah, they were repairing their hangars at Harrison. I don't think they need it anymore.
Okay. Have we, so anyway, I think it's, you know, maybe an opportunity that what little bit, what marketing have we done? Have we thrown any feelers out there in any way, shape or form?
Not really.
No.
Okay.
I think we need to probably, set a price if anything else. I mean, I've got, do you have to leave?
No, no. I was
Okay.
putting this out.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody have a copy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a friend, that runs an airport
Yeah.
right outside of, Omaha. I mean, he's right on the edge of a big city. He's getting 12,000 a month for this, same size hangar there, but he pays for the utilities. Now, I mean, I realize location's everything right there. It's a non-controlled field right on the edge, but he said, I would rather have 4 single engine turboprops than 1 jet. You know, so you got fuel cells and, you know, with the small or with more aircraft than 1. But he, in his opinion, $5,000 for a jet owner is nothing. You know, they would tie that hangar up. So I don't know. Just conversation I had. Another way of looking at things.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that, you know, like we've discussed before, one thing we have to take into consideration is, you know, you get a jet, it's really dependent upon the pilot, you know, and if you get a legitimate corporation that's got a jet, I don't think they're gonna care to say, it's not the price, like you just said, price isn't really gonna, hey, we can rent this hangar in Connersville for $5,000, or we got one in Bloomington where we're close to for 10. Well, we'll just pay the 10 because it's closer because the pilot's there. You know, they don't care about the $5,000 difference per month. And so I'm not saying we need to raise our fee, but I do think that, I looking at that, I mean, personally, you're right. If somebody's got enough money to buy a jet and what little bit of comps I've looked at, we're definitely on the very, very, very competitive side, and we can always go up, you know, what's reasonable, you know, annually. But, I think maybe, is it worth, reaching out even to Bloomington, their airport manager? I would like to think that, you know, airport managers, you know, sure you want to do what's within the best interest of your, what I look at as we have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayer, you know, and I'm sure they do too. And so what I'm saying is I hope there's not competitive nature. Oh, I'm not going to tell you about these guys that need a hangar because we want the business. I would like to think that's not out there, but it could be, you know, but what are your thoughts on maybe reaching out to Indy Metro, Eagle Creek, any regional executive, reaching out to those managers and just calling them and say, hey, do you have anybody that has any interest in a hangar? We've got one brand new.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't really have anybody. Okay, well, we'd like to put out a feeler. And if we can create, you know, just a flyer,
Yeah,
take some
right.
pictures of the hangar
Right.
and this is the space and heated and water and this is what we got. We got, you know, services here that we can provide you with, and say, hey, would you care to print this off? We'll email it, print it off, and just put it in your FBO just to start.
Yeah.
And but I think maybe just reaching out and maybe even as far as Terre Haute, maybe you can find some call Dayton. You know,
Right. Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of research, but what little bit I've done is I don't find a whole lot of these types of hangars that are vacant. And so I know it's a somewhat, I don't want to say a niche, but, or niche, but I mean, it's I think we gotta start with the easy stuff and maybe just reach out to some of those people, you know? Cause if somebody called us, even just about T hangers, they said, hey, we've got 4 T hangers available. Do you guys have anybody? Yeah, we got 8 people on this list. Let me give you the name and you can contact them, and I think we would be willing to help those people out, if we're full, which we
Right,
are.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
but you just never know. But maybe just running down 100-mile radius of every major airport, I mean, no offense to Hagerstown, but I don't think anybody at Hagerstown is going to need a hanger like we've got. But I'm just saying, it might be possibility there.
Well, let's see what we come back with here next month or
The other thing,
email break or decide on a breakdown on the price or whatever. We'll just bring a portion.
Something you said earlier on market. You said possibly we don't want to rent for one owner, but make it a condominium style. Of how do we market that?
yeah, I think that you could put on the flyer, maybe willing to partition, just throw that in there as a line item, and if somebody sees that. And somebody asked me, he had just a tail wheel, I mean, just a small, I can't remember how big it was, but it was like a Chief or a Champ or something. And he saw our hangers back in October and he said, you guys gonna rent that house? Well, yeah. He's like, well, I'd love to have a space in it. And I'm like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
we're open to anything. We're not gonna say no. But the other thing, I'm sure they've got it set up, but obviously with Reed having the new heliport right behind, I know you go to Newcastle and they've got an IU
Right.
helivac there. I don't know if it's worth reaching out to Reed and just say, hey, where are you storing your helicopter?
Right.
It might be an option, something there. And it might be stored at Richmond. I can't remember.
Who reads?
Yeah.
I don't know. I went to meeting on the design of the pad over here.
Okay.
But I don't remember any conversation about where the helicopters were stored.
I think PHI's got one.
Yeah, Rushville.
Rushville.
Okay.
Which used to be
Harry Bank,
Harry.
Yeah. and then they fly in to Reed also.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's terrible. I should probably know that. I don't know if Reed had their own helicopter or not, if they just contract that out and I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I met one of the pilots the other day by accident. I got the impression he was his company wasn't part of Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
guessing-
so. I
think PHI and Life Indian IU Health or whatever, Lifeline, are they at
They're at
is that
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can reach out to Reed, see if
Yeah,
they're going eventually.
We had a request for a helicopter one time, but we didn't
Mhm.
have,
We didn't have space for
we
it.
didn't have space at that time. It'd be nice to have it.
Yeah, but I think just off the top of my head, I think that some numbers, we can maybe put together a flyer and just start doing the cheapest route and, have them send it to an email, print it off and, I don't think there's any airport that I wouldn't contact. I know there's a lot, but
Right.
all you need is one.
Yeah.
You just need one really that would fit that and be willing to say yes. So.
I'd start out with Monroe County. I read where they had several hangars
I saw
destroyed
pictures
in there.
of planes flipped upside down.
Yeah.
If we could help them out and help us out.
Even if it's temporary, where it's like, well,
Yeah.
we can house this here for 6, 8, 9 months until we get ours rebuilt. Not a problem. We'll be
Yeah.
happy to take you on. So. I would say some social media, but we don't have much of a following. I don't know if there's some websites out there you can list hangars for rent on outside of Barnstormers. I mean, that might be an option.
So
There's
that
a couple
was
of Facebook
NBAA, it's the National Business Aircraft Association. That's like all your corporate flight departments and people who own big jets are in NBAA. I don't know. I don't know if you have to be a member to advertise on their site or if they've got a non-member advertising rate or what. but-
Was it NB double N?
NB, yep, National Business Aircraft Association. They have a big conference, I do that every year. On, like a lot of the corporate flight departments go to that. And the FBOs, who service the corporates.
That's where Tyler goes to.
I read an article the other day, and I don't know if Paul may be familiar with it. Indiana has been picked or looked at for drone operations. Have you seen that?
Yeah, there's all kinds of different proposals out there. Indiana submitted a proposal. Actually, they submitted several. Different organizations have, but yeah, there's basically the autonomous air mobility. You'll see at AAM is a big thing in the FAA. There's grants and things out there to do testing and prototypes.
I thought from what I read, they were looking at sites to consider.
They
I
are.
didn't know whether that would be something
We're involved.
we could help or not.
We're involved.
Are we?
Maybe. That's what the mayor and I were meeting about last week. It's that, how do I want to say? We have a gentleman that lives here that's the vice chair of the NRA, but is also heavily invested in DOD. And he brought it to our attention several months ago. There's a lady, we haven't figured out who she is, that's designated from the state, that's marshaling a program. But it's $400 million dedicated to India, committed to Indiana. These aren't drones like mine.
No, I would assume.
No, these are, yeah.
I don't have any specifics on them. I've heard all kinds of, basically the EV tolls that are kind of like taxi cabs. But they would be piloted for a while. They would be set up to be autonomous. And they were looking for some test markets. I would suspect that that'll be around Indianapolis. But I also heard some rumblings that Atterbury and Crane both had something from a DoD perspective on something similar. So I'm not really in the loop on that, but I know there's a lot of talk on it and there's money involved in it.
I knew they had mentioned Atterbury in the article I was reading as just a proposed.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at it.
They're looking at multiple sites.
Yeah.
And obviously, in my mind, the prime sites would be places like Fort Wayne where they have the or Terre Haute Guard. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought, though you had rain, it doesn't hurt anything.
It's done. Yeah, our hat's in the ring. That's what I'll say. But, so if, in case it goes bad, the mayor's heading it up. So. There you go.
Ship the plane.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any other new business?
Just, I got two real quick things. NDOT did the annual airport inspection and no discrepancies this year. We've got our certificates. We're good to go. We did get this letter from IDEM and they want to do within the next 90 days, they want to do a check of our fuel tanks. And they've got several things listed on here. We've never had an IDEM inspection on our fuel tank, so I don't know what that's going to be. Paul, do you have any words of advice on that? Have you guys been through?
Yeah, they're doing them more. I mean, it's just kind of random. They can inspect them at any time. They're underground? Or are they above ground? Underground?
Underground.
Yeah. So as long as you're paying your tank registration fee each year, that's the most important thing. Because
Uh-oh.
it's a $90 fee annually.
For 21, 22 years, we've gotten away with it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
23 years.
Well, it's to your advantage to pay because it's basically, it gives you an environmental trust liability fund, health funds. If you have a problem with the tank, it's leaked or, you know, you gotta replace it. Then basically, if you have some kind of catastrophic failure, what have you, then it's basically a state insurance program. As long as it's registered and you've paid your $90 a year, then your maximum exposure is $50,000. It's like a $50,000 deductible. After that, then the cleanup costs are come out of the trust fund for that. So
Who would we contact to?
I can ask somebody in our environmental department to look it up there. But you should, the check's payable to IDEM and they usually send an annual invoice on it for registered USTs. So,
As I say, we pay some stuff for the transfer station and utilities pay stuff for something else and I don't think.
None of this would be retroactive, all right, since we haven't done it. No, I'm serious. I mean, I don't want to register for something today and get charged for the 23 years you
well,
didn't pay.
This thing's never been registered. I can't-
well, when I bet you it is registered, otherwise they wouldn't know to.
Okay.
Now, whether you've kept up with your fees is a completely different story. I don't know. And so my guess, Pete, it doesn't matter. When they come and they inspect it, they'll let you know. Yeah, they're gonna come and inspect it. It's not uncommon. They're gonna,
I've had a few inspections like that.
yeah, I mean, chances are there's probably a few things that aren't quite right on it. I mean, it just happens over time. There is a replacement program, even if it hasn't failed or you haven't had a leak. Now, I know it's still a huge financial commitment. But North Vernon just did it. They were the first in the state to take advantage of this program. But IDEM has a replacement program. If you want to replace your USTs, you can replace them with a UST or you can replace them with an AST, above ground storage tank, and it's 50-50. So they'll pay half of the cost of the project and you'll pay for eligible replacements. So that's really a pretty good deal. But keep in mind, it's close to $500,000 per tank. So if you're like $1 million for both jet and avgas, if you want to do one at a time, it's about $500,000, but they're in it for 50%. So North Vernon just got a check for $240,000. They replaced their jet tank and their avgas tank, but the jet tank they did before the program started. But they got 50% on their avgas just now. So it's a pretty good program if you have to replace the tank. But
You know how many gallon tank they put in?
the jet, I think their jet is 15,000 and their avgas is 12.
How old are our tanks?
They're almost, I was just trying to figure it out, 27, 28 years old. I'm just guessing.
And what's the normal life expectancy of the tank?
I think it really kind of depends on the system. I think your components fail before the tank. The tank's probably good for 50 years, but all the pieces and parts and fittings that go in and out of it, that's what fails usually.
Yeah, I really wanted 2 above ground tanks where I knew hangars at.
Oh,
We had more room to taxi up instead of that. You got it just such a, it's
In
a
the corner.
gridlock in that corner. That was the only thing. I mean, because we had pavement and everything there already, but definitely would move the tanks if we ever did,
yeah, we could look at another site. We could probably find another site where you could have a lot more taxi room,
Yeah.
particularly with your jet tank. It's not good
Yes.
to have the jet in a corner like that. It's hard to get a jet close enough to it with 75 feet of hose.
Yeah. That's it with us.
Have questions or comments from members or guests? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Take a motion.
So kind of motions, we've got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Hey, Jeff, remind me,